My name is John Krejcha, and welcome.
Hi,
Karen?
everybody. I am Karen Krejcha, John's wife, and I'm happy to welcome you today. I'm going to be the person who's telling you just a little bit about Autism Empowerment in case you're not familiar with us. We are a nonprofit organization that my husband John and I co-founded in Vancouver, Washington in June of 2011. We are proudly autistic and neurodivergent led, and we're guided by our mission to promote a culture of acceptance, enrichment, inspiration, and empowerment in the lives of autistic and neurodivergent individuals and their families. As an organization, we serve people of all ages and abilities from birth throughout the lifespan, and our programs reach locally in the Southwest Washington, Portland metro area. Some of them reach more broadly, and some are like Spectrum Life go nationally and even internationally in some cases. We are built on the belief that every person out there has value and purpose and gifts to give and the ability to make a positive impact in our world. And through programs like Spectrum Life Magazine and our support groups, our volunteer initiatives, advocacy, education, training, all of those different things, and now the Neurodivergent Creators Collective, we do our best to be able to meet people where they're at and help them grow in the community. So, as our organization is defined in the community, people will say that we tend to be an organization that focuses on positivity and inclusion and uplifting voices like yours that have often been marginalized. So, we're excited to be here today because the Neurodivergent Creators Collective represents a beautiful extension of all of the programs we've offered before. It represents our mission, and we're looking forward to bringing together creators like yourselves to share, learn, and tell authentic stories. So that's my presentation, and thank you so much for being part of the journey with us.
So that leads to me. My name is John Krejcha again. I am the programs director, which I already said. One of the things that we want you to kind of be aware of is our magazine, Spectrum Life Magazine. We've actually been doing that since 2016. So next year will be 10 years of doing the magazine. We produce it 4 times a year in summer, spring, winter, and fall. It's available pretty much all throughout Southwest Washington, Washington State, and Oregon. The Oregon Metro, Salem, and beyond. It has 5 main sections: advocacy, lifespan, recreation, education, health, and wellness and therapy. So all of the stuff that we have there is actually can be accessed on our website, spectrumlife.org, and we encourage people to go there and check it out. There's also an article in this last issue about the Neurodivergent Careers Collective, what we aim to kind of do, and give you some more information about that as well. There's also in the article a QR code so you can take a survey so we know what you're looking for. And that is my spiel.
Yay. All right. So I am Brian Tashima. Thank you so much for being here. I am a longtime board member of Autism Empowerment. They somehow gave me a position on the board back in 2013, I believe it was, right? So I've been one of the first board members, and I've been serving ever since. Very proud and honored to do so. And I am also the director and producer and writer of a film called Hold My Beer. In case you haven't heard of it, it's a Vancouver, Washington-based short film. It's a comedy drama that we premiered it at the Kagan's Theater this past January. And it's also available now online at YouTube. And one of the main goals that we had in making this film was that we wanted to have as much of the cast and crew identify as artistic or neurodivergent. And so I think we ended up with about half of our main cast and crew were autistic or neurodivergent. It turns out myself included, although I didn't know it at the time. um, it's funny because it's a long story, but the journey of making this film actually did lead to me exploring the possibility of myself being neurodivergent as well. And so I decided to go and get an official assessment, and it turns out I am actually a member of the Cool Kids Club, as it turns out. So very proud to uh, to announce that. I think this is my first actual public announcement of that. So, but anyway, yeah. So that was one of our goals with the film, and so we were happy to, the characters that you see in the picture. That's our lead actor in the middle, and a couple of supporting actors. They all identify as being autistic, and as the slide said, it was an original script that me and my I guess bandmates slash production mates we wrote, and it was co-produced with Autism Empowerment. We received a grant from the city of Vancouver, Washington, but that helped finance and fund the filming. We used most of that money to purchase equipment like camera equipment, lighting, microphones that are now available for use for members of the Neurodivergent Creators Collective. So if there's anybody out there who's interested in filmmaking, but you don't have the equipment, you're welcome to, these resources are available to you. You're welcome to borrow them to make your project. They're not anything fancy. The camera is like a $500 Canon T7, but it gets the job done, and it did for us. And so, yeah, so it's a good starter, kind of a starter filmmaker's kit. Gwyn?
So, yep, now it's my turn. Nope, you were right, John. Thank you. So, Hold My Beer is actually what started this whole thing.
Yes.
I have been a professional actor for the last 13 years, done a lot of independent projects in Portland and Vancouver, spent 3 years living part-time in LA, so I could do a lot more stuff down there. Of course, I did that during the pandemic, so the timing was a little bit off. But when Mac, my husband, and I went to the Hold My Beer premiere, I had no idea that there was an organization in Vancouver or Portland that specifically was willing to work with neurodivergents, to uplift them, empower them, inspire this creativity. So I reached out to Brian and said, could you introduce me to Karen? Because she gave just the most lovely welcoming speech at Hold My Beer. And here we are, because I've worked with other organizations. I'm very active with the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge. And what I was really looking to do was save everybody else the thousands of dollars, and I don't even know how many hours going to workshops, taking bad classes, trying to learn all of these things the hard way. And I can save you guys from that. I will be honest, nobody in this collective, we can't make you famous. You're not going to be the next Denzel Washington, but we will help you. We will empower you. With the four of us, if we don't know an answer that we know is correct, we're going to research. We're going to find it out. And all of us have this eventual goal in mind that you won't need us anymore. We will step back and you will take over. You will be the ones teaching the next generation and the next generation as we make these projects, as we get podcasts and comic books and all of this stuff that we can create together by helping one another, by understanding one another, and knowing how to speak to each other. We don't have to match the neurotypical guidelines. We can do it our way. And that lets our creativity shine through. So that's why we're asking for you to do the survey, so we know what you want to do, because that's going to direct everything. So, as we've already said, our members are going to come together, we'll work together. Starting out, we're going to say 16 and up. We are very family focused. So if somebody knows a 15-year-old that just really wants to draw comics or really wants to start voice acting, we're probably going to let them come play with us. I like playing with people. Let's get together and create and uplift and explore together, because that just makes everybody happy. And by offering our workshops both in person and online, just like we're recording this presentation, that makes it more available to everybody. So you don't have to come sit in a classroom with me, because I can be overwhelming for some people. You can watch me in a video and email me a question. Not a problem. Super, super simple. If you have a different way to communicate, let us know. I bet we can work it out. And if you have an efficiency thing that would help you, somebody else probably does too, and they may not have enough experience to be able to let us know. So the more we share, the better we all are.
Can I make one quick comment? We had talked about making this as universally designed as possible, so as many people can have access to the information. Because when you have something that's good for everyone, you're trying to lift everyone up at the same time.
No, perfect. Absolutely. If we can say the same thing 3 different ways so that 9 people can understand it instead of 2, let's do it. We got time. And our members are worth the effort. That's the big thing. So you've heard us talk about the survey. Karen and John put up a really cool little poll that's like a shortcut on Facebook. So you can do that one as well. Let's see, no fees for workshops at this time. If we put together a big feature film, we might need some help. But John and Karen will talk about different ways people can help. And so we're going to do our best to keep this sweet, simple, and easy. Goals are projects, collaboration, finding you guys that can be the next leaders. Because I don't need to be in charge. But I love creating, and I love amazing characters. If you haven't guessed, I am a character actor. I am never going to be the romantic lead in anything. And I do that because characters are so much more interesting. I don't want to be the lady sitting in the car. Oh, come save me. I'm just the poor female. Get that. I'm going to go out and split wood. And if the guy comes up and gives me a bad time, well, there's a chopping block just right there. All right.
All right, so I guess as the slide says, let's go. Let's get it started. I mean, as Gwyn mentioned, we are just getting off the ground now, and we want this to be as a collaborative process as possible. We want everybody to have their input and their say as to what you want this group to be. We want to be able to cater to your interests and your needs, and then we'll just kind of work together and kind of just like mold it together as we go along. And so, as the slide says, this is how we make it happen. Spread the word. If you have people that you like to learn and work with, feel free to make suggestions. We're always open to ideas and input. Think about what it is that you want to create, and maybe there's opportunities to work with other people in the collective. Like maybe like if you're looking for if you need like art for your project, but you're not an artist itself, but you're working on something. Like say if you're designing a video game, you need someone to create assets or art or music, then you can network with other people in the group to to help you put that together. We have a survey that there's the QR code there. It's an interest survey that lets us know. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes to complete. Lets us know what you're most interested in. We are going to try at our best to accommodate everyone's interests. But like I said, as we get getting going in the beginning, we're gonna have to try to we're gonna be flexible. We're gonna do some workshops. You're gonna see in the next slide that we have planned with some of the interests that we've already kind of pre-planned out. But as we move forward and things start to kind of take a little bit more shape, then we'll try to do our best to accommodate as much interest as we can. We may not be able to do it right away. So if you indicate something in your survey and we don't have a workshop or an offering right away, just please bear with us. We appreciate your patience. We'll try to work that in. We'll try to incorporate it as we go along. And like I said, we're just kind of getting off the ground now. But it's cool because then for those of you who are participating now, you have the chance to get in on the ground floor and help us mold this into what will hopefully be a pretty incredible program. So please take the survey or the poll that's on Facebook. And again, like I said, if you have skills that you'd like to share with others, let us know because, like I said, it could be a great opportunity for working together, collaboration. That's kind of how Hold My Beer came together. Was I just kind of talked to people and say, hey, like I'm making this film. I need actors. I need crew members. I need these different things. And so I kind of just talked to Karen and she and John, and they say, oh, remember this person? We used to work with them. I think they have some acting experience, and that's kind of how it all came together. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity to kind of all just kind of work together and collaborate, and help bring everyone's creative visions to life, which is really what we want to help you all do.
So I want to say
So,
something about Brian. Brian, we had a planning meeting, and Brian he looked over at us and says, "Let's just plan something. Let's just get going." So I absolutely love Brian's wanting to jump in and do it, and so that's what kind of got to this next slide. So so you can blame Brian or thank Brian, whichever you'd like.
it's something I learned from writing, which is like you can't edit a blank page. So the whole thing is to just get started, just do it, and then fix it as you go along, or that's the hardest part is getting started, and I think so that's kind of what we're doing now is we're just launching it, getting off the ground, and we will adjust, course correct along the way. So.
And as we were discussing this, we figured the best way to start is to kind of look at an overview. So if you're curious about filmmaking or voiceover, our first workshops are going to be really the big, broad view. For a Marvel film, there are 24 different departments, not counting the studio side admin, to making a movie. Brian did it with, I think, 6 crew members, covering all 24 of those departments. So that's our first workshop is, what it's like to make a film and what goes into it.
So our second workshop is going to be one of those 101 classes. It's going to be an introduction to voiceover and podcasting. And those are 2 very different things. So whether you dream of bringing characters to life, you dream of sharing your stories, whether those are fiction or your personal life experience, whether you want to be someone who wants to host interviews with other people or create audio projects that connect with people around the world, we're going to be talking about different voice and audio work that can support different opportunities for you to express yourself, to do storytelling, and to get your voice out there. So in our June workshop, Gwyn and I are going to give you that behind the scenes look at what goes into recording and producing and sharing your voice. But it's, again, going to be at an introductory level. And if you have questions in advance that you'd like us to cover, please feel free to do so. We'll also in the meantime, be using our Facebook group to be able to provide resources for these types of things so that you can have some resources to think about and to look at in advance.
And in addition to filmmaking and being in a band, I am also an author. I have written a 7-volume series of science fiction, fantasy, young adult novels called the Joel Suzuki series. And I self-published those between like 2012 and 2023. And so in the July workshop, I'll talk about what it takes to write and self-publish a novel. So yeah.
So what I'd like to quickly mention is that all of these workshops will be online and actually in person as well. We encourage people to come out, actually to be in the audience while we're actually live streaming this. So they'll be held in at Stevens Place in Vancouver, which is kind of south near 14 and 205. So if you're in the area, we would love to be able to have you out and be in the crowd. But if you can't, we want you to also be able to have access via Zoom. So we're trying to do our best to do a hybrid on these first 3 presentations, because it's important to people to meet people where they're at. Some people do like that interaction, that personal interaction, and they don't want to have that sterileness of just being on a Zoom call. And other people love the sterileness of a Zoom call and don't want the interaction. So we want to be able to try to, again, meet you where you're at. And we'll put out all of those details within the Facebook group with all of the details, with the Zoom link, with the address, and all of that other information as well.
And
So
just to add,
that.
we realize that not everybody's on Facebook, so we'll also be including all of this on our website as well.
In addition, we're looking at other ways to reach people either via Discord or via
LinkedIn,
other places.
Instagram.
Right, different places.
If we are
trying to reach people where you're at.
Yeah, if we aren't currently on a social media platform that you are more comfortable on, drop us an email, let us know, and we will figure it out. We're here to learn too.
Absolutely. I think you make a really great point there. We're here to teach what we know and to learn from you. And I expect personally to learn more from you than I teach. So yes. I think it's just going to be really wonderful. And to that extent, we are looking for a wide variety of people to be part of the collective. John, did you want to talk about some of the people
what I
we're
wanted to
looking for?
say was that if you know of anyone, please share either the Facebook, the website. There'll be some emails at the end that please share the contacts. We're looking to grow this really robustly so people can really interact with each other, really grow with each other, and to lift everyone up. Volunteers, if you have an expert in one particular area that, like, wow, I can teach this, and you really have taught it before, we're looking for that. We're looking for people to mentor other people. That also goes along with the instructors. Right now, everything that we're doing for the collective is free. But we would love to be able to pay honorariums to the instructors, especially the neurodivergent instructors, because one thing at Autism Empowerment that's really important to us is employment for the autism community, the neurodivergent community. And if we can, and that starts by paying the instructors, especially the neurodivergent instructors, because that shows authenticity and accountability to our goals and our values as an organization. So we're always looking for sponsors, donors, just a way, even if you can volunteer your time or anything, we're always looking for that kind of stuff. Karen, did you have anything to add?
Oh, I was just going to say, you may work for companies or you may hear
Right.
of grants or, anything that any lead you can pass along our way in order to be able to help grow the collective is going to be wonderful and appreciated. We can't do this without the support of our community, and we're applying for grants right now, and we have some things in the works to try to get some funding for this, but we appreciate any creative ideas that you have as well, because together we'll make it stronger.
I have one more
And
thing is, sorry, Gwyn, and I'll let you kind of jump in. What we're also looking for is if you know of another nonprofit or organization that we can partner with. Autism Empowerment doesn't work in a silo, meaning a lot of organizations will only work within their boundaries. We try to work with as many types of groups out there. So if you know any other nonprofit that say, hey, this might be a good fit, we'd love that connection as well. Sorry, Gwyn.
and for volunteers, things don't happen in a vacuum. We're going to need help setting up chairs, you know, checking in members that show up for a workshop, you know, running the Zoom, setting up the cameras. Anyone can help, and everyone has something to offer. And it's very important that in this creators collective, we really recognize how much everybody has to offer. I can't tell you how many chairs I've set up, and then at the end of the night, you got to put all those chairs away. But that is helping the community also. That counts, and that's important. So, thank you.
So we have questions, and then we have contact. So I'm going to try to unmute. So if you want to,
You can either put questions in the chat, or
right.
if you want to raise your hand, then you can ask a question live.
Hit me with your best shot. That's all more I will sing, I promise.
I just want to recognize that Mike and Sophie put in the chat that they're most experienced when it comes to creating character designs as well as character development when it comes to cartooning and animation, specifically 2D animation. I love that, and like I talked about collaboration, I think I may already have some ideas to work with you folks on those kinds of things. So thank you for that contribution.
Awesome. I do have some random questions. Is the idea initially to just for people with specific skill sets to sort of teach community members what it takes to do that kind of thing? And then from there, for people to like maybe gather groups to do work on personal projects, like multiple personal projects going on? Or is it to kind of maybe somebody's going to have a big idea like Brian did with Hold My Beer and like the whole team comes together on one big project, or is it open-ended at this point?
I think open-ended is a really good description. Big projects where we can involve lots of people are going to be great. That's really going to help us all learn how to collaborate effectively. But if you have something that you're working on already, if you've got this great story idea, we're going to support that as much as we can also. So we really want to keep this road wide open and clear so everybody gets the support and encouragement that they need.
I think if I could add on to that too, I think, Autism Empowerment will always have projects about storytelling. So we always are looking for people to tell their stories. Brian had the Hold My Beer. There'll be hopefully sequels to Hold My Beer, a whole series, and we'll need people for that. It's to basically collaborate and say you have a story, you're like, yes, this is the story, but how do I get it out to that next step? We want to have, that's why it's important to have a bank of mentors, a bank of other people that can go, yes, I love your vision too. Let's go ahead. Let's go this way with that. Does that make sense? So it's a yes to like all, like Gwyn was saying, a yes to everything.
As much as we can.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
And what's really kind of neat, when we put out the survey, we invited a lot of other professionals that we knew to take the survey too. And we've actually got many of them to take the survey and would be willing to help out as well. We're talking about other writers, other people in other industries. As we're doing this, these introduction courses, we're also gathering all of these other potential experts to potentially help down the road. But again, it's not going to be like Gwen said, you're going to now make $1 million in the next year, or you know. But we want to support your passion. Well, you might absolutely, you might hit that one thing and go, but we want to support your passions. Where it's not just. I mean, arts is such a broad category, right? We want to be able to eventually focus on music, you know, and how, you know, maybe do a course on the behind the scenes of the music industry. Different things. There's all these different topics: graphic arts, video game making. Well, like I said, we're getting all of these people together, and and like Brian said, let's just jump in and go. That's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah, one thing that I always try to say at Autism Empowerment, because people will come to us and they'll ask what we're all about. And then they'll turn and look at, since John and I co-founded it, sometimes they'll think it's, oh, is this about you? Is it about this little us? But we always say it's about the big us, the bigger picture. All of us are part of this community. We're all working and striving to make this world a better place. You know, we can use our talents together. And there's a saying called that a rising tide lifts all boats. We believe very, very firmly that, you know, we can help one another. And so we encourage your engagement. If you're part of the Facebook group, we encourage you to be able to share things, ask questions, share resources, all those different things, because we don't know what we don't know until we know it. And I think that we can all learn from one another and share the good things that we have.
So
Another quick question.
Oh, sorry, one quick. So Trevin had a question in the chat. He said right now he's a full-time student, doesn't have much time to help, but he's happy to offer feedback. Feedback is great because feedback allows us to then, because your feedback is probably there's 10 or 20 other people that have that same type of question or thought. And just also spreading the word about the group is also a way to help us as well. Because the more people that know about the group, your circles, and then become our circles, then become these circles, and then you just never know how that all connects. So I do apologize, Mike. So next question.
I guess my next question is if I know someone with a certain set of talents, but they have never taught anyone, is that still something you're interested in as far as potentially having them attempt to teach those skills to someone else?
Yeah. When I started teaching, I had never taught. I took a couple of special ed teaching courses too long ago when I attended Washington, Oregon University, but I never followed through. I never did anything teaching wise. And then one of the groups I became involved with, we realized a lot of their actors didn't know that in the industry, actors have a very specific resume format. You have to use it. If you don't, they're just going to throw it in the garbage. And this group was teaching all of their people to put together a business resume for acting. And when I heard that, my heart broke. I'm like, no, you can't. No, don't do that. And they're like, okay, well, then you teach us how to do it. I went, oh, well, all right, let me stop chewing on my toes. And how do we pull this together? And so, yeah, you start with a lesson plan. And a lot of times when I have found now when I'm teaching, it's the questions, it's the feedback that actually teach me more. So next time I'll do an even better job. You know, maybe next time I need to tone it down a little bit, not move so much. Depends on who's taking the class, but anyone can talk about things, especially if they're passionate about it, because that brings that energy, and we get to be excited about it too.
So, and again, just to kind of go off of Gwyn, one of the goals of the program is to build the next leadership, next generation of leaders as well. And how do you get that to become a leader? You learn, right? And sometimes, like Brian says, you just jump in and do, and that's how you get the experience. But leaders, I mean, that's kind of one of our goals, is to build leaders for the next generation of storytelling and through however they feel. And that's how I think Gwenny even mentioned earlier about finding people that can teach, right? And so I absolutely agree. If you know someone, that's another way you can help. Let us know people that you know. I don't see any more questions. Shasti.
I was trying to be kind. I just wanted to add on to that. When I first created Autism We Embrace, I had an idea of what I thought the group would look like. But the first, I don't know, year, I didn't have very many people coming, but when they did show, I asked them, what did you come here looking for? You know, I wanted this and this. Oh, you did. Oh, well, let me, I had to alter it a little bit. And then it went back and forth for a little while before I was like, okay, I kind of found my groove, right? So maybe you walk in going, I have a lot to offer. I'm not really sure which pieces you need, but here are the things I know. Ask me some questions, and then I'll talk about the things that I know about in detail and answer your questions. And that's how you start sometimes.
And now Shasti has been leading her support group for what, almost 8 or 9 years?
A total of 13, but not with
13
you
years
for that whole time, but a total of 13, yeah.
That's amazing.
And she's a mighty leader.
And I want to say that we really also appreciate our youth and our young adults who are joining us because, some of us, well, I'll speak for myself, are older. And
way older.
That this just isn't being led by your mom or your grandma, that you're actively engaged in this. So, teach us what you know. Help us, meet you, and you could meet us.
You have something to offer. You're young, but you have a lot
and
to
if
offer.
you're someone that's like social media, like if you have in a place that we're not, and you're really proficient in it, come to us and maybe we can help get you to help monitor or engaged as well to help us in those places.
I have a friend in Los Angeles who's neurodivergent, and I just learned last week that if you put up a YouTube link on Facebook, their algorithm kicks it out and people won't see your post. And I've been on Facebook for like 8 years. I had no idea. So even if it doesn't seem like you have stuff to offer, I bet you do. Because no two of us have walked the same path to get where we are. And so you've experienced things that I know nothing about. I know what it's like to drive a semi-truck, but you probably don't. So we have something we can talk about. You can tell me about your cat, because I bet your cat is way different than any cat that I ever owned. Because you're different and you're special and you're important. And I want to know you.
I think that's the big thing, is we're here to support you. I love the group that we've assembled. so far. And Andy, the guy on my screen on the bottom, he's also going to be helping with our technical stuff. So there's a lot of people that can we need a lot of, like you say, when we do our in-person starting next month, we'll need people to help put up chairs, help people sign in. So even if you could come and sit and then take part in the class, volunteering ahead of time, anything helps. It takes less pressure off of us, and we all can then focus more on getting you more goodness.
I will add one more thing. I know a little bit of ASL, and the sign for help is your palm flat and your thumb up. So I can help you and you can help me. I love that. Let's help each other. Did we get all the questions?
I think so. Tevin's been putting some really good stuff in the chat. So
yeah. He knows some people at some of the different local colleges. So any of that kind of stuff is really super helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And
the
if you
networking
need
really good.
Also, if you would like, we can post the flyer, and if you print it and take it into some of these departments to post in their departments, that's always a great place just to meet people where they're at too. I mean, I even saw like at Fred Meyer, they have this huge board that for community that's typically open to be able to go out and put flyers in those places, let people know. Because guess what? Everyone shops. Some people more online, but Mike, you have another question.
Yeah, I don't.
Your limit's over.
We have like 3 minutes. I don't know. You were talking about
Keep
silos
asking.
and how not-for-profits can work together. I don't know if this is the right forum for it or not. I've done some architectural work for Open Signal in Portland. I don't know if everybody knows who they are, but it does seem like they have a space for like recording studio and performance space and that sort of thing. And I don't know, I don't have a super connection with them necessarily, and I don't know the ins and outs of their business, but I guess I just don't know how that works when you partner with other not-for-profits.
Well, allowing us to know what's out there. First of all, if we don't know it's out there, we don't know it's out there. And so just by you bringing in the name, a lot of times we can then kind of look and say, oh, and then, Google it and then try to find someone. So even if you just give us a name and you don't necessarily have a super contact, we can try to look into that as well.
Yeah, as far as I know, they just have they have a fairly large building with a lot of recording like space and performance space, and they rent equipment that you can take outside for movie making, etc. As far as I know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
See, that kind of lead is great.
Yeah, absolutely. I think because we've reached out to a lot of different types of nonprofits before, and when you reach out from a place of grace, a lot of them they're willing to work with you and to do something with you because we're doing good stuff together, and it doesn't hurt to ask. And there's a lot of places that we are connected with through our delivery of Spectrum Life. And so a lot of times, anybody who there's autism and neurodivergent crosses so many different places that, I bet even if it's nonprofit or a for-profit, they may be willing to give us space, donate space or something along those lines.
So it's pretty easy. And I'm going to give away the secret. You can get Karen at autismempowerment.org as well. And John might be the same thing. So whoever you are most comfortable with reaching out to, we would love to hear from you. And we are really looking at this survey. Brian made a spreadsheet. It's awesome. So we will be planning more stuff. This is not a set in stone in any way. And we're not going to do 3 workshops and think we're done. We will keep working this and keep coming up with ideas.
And wouldn't it be cool eventually to have our own film festival here just in Vancouver? I mean,
yeah.
looking big, or even in Portland. So it's, and or
We
even
could
a graphic
partner
arts
with
type
real
of,
abilities. So easy. That is an
right.
excellent idea.
Lots
know
of possibilities. Yeah.
Yes. I can write an
The
email.
sky's the limit.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd love to also hear your feedback about this intro, session. So if you have comments that you want to make, saying, "Oh, I talked too much," that's totally fine. Or, maybe, get rid of Brian's cat. Whatever you want to comment on. Just kidding.
I think now you're going to get the
Uh,
comments about you talking too much, John.
There you go. But we want to hear from you, and we want to hear what you're thinking and what we're proposing on doing, and just kind of your overall thoughts too. So either email us or go to the Facebook chat or Facebook and let your comments there. We just want to hear what you have to say.
And thank you
again,
all
it's
so
about
much for
you.
being here.
Yep.
Thanks for doing this. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gwyn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We totally value your time. Thank you so much.